Welcome to the Music Ed Podcast. This is James Devine, your host, and today I'm going to talk about some tips to help you stay organized as you do your important work. One of the first things you might want to do, if you haven't started this already, start it now, and that's to create a beginning of year task list. I put everything on this list. All the dates that need to go into my calendar, all the forms I need to collect, all the more like the dates of when I need to collect the forms, the dates I need to submit requests for transportation, all of those things, my concert dates, when I have to spend money by. Some districts, if you don't spend it by January, you lose it. So I'll put that as a reminder, and I'll have everything listed by month. So I'll have things I need to do in August, things in September, and I put that into my physical calendar. It might also be audition dates. Different honor bands have different dates. And this is going to be a document you revise and revise and revise, and you're going to continue to add things to it as you figure out these are things I need to remember. In the early years of my teaching, mine were always all scribbled all over. And then as I got a better version of it, I just had a few notes that I would need to add for things in the future. And most of the time I remembered to do all of those things, but sometimes I would forget, and the reminder on the sheet of paper would remind me. Another way to stay organized, try to aim for inbox zero. And what I mean by that is I try to leave every day with no emails in my inbox. And you might think this is impossible, but not if you really think about it. So you're going to do every email message you get, you're going to do one of four things with it. Do, delegate, file, or delete. And we'll talk about that real quick. So do. If it's something you can do within a minute, go ahead and get it done and be done with it. I remember sometimes just trying to ask a band director with the festival I was in charge of, how many students are you bringing? Because I was ordering pizza for everybody. And it would be like pulling teeth. And I didn't even need an exact number or names. Just, are you bringing 15? Are you bringing 20? Are you bringing 2? So if it's something you can do it really quick. If it's something you can delegate, so for example, if someone asks you a question and you're not the one to answer that, then immediately reply and say, hey, I'm not the one to answer that, and copy the person on who is. And then that way it's out of your lap and out of your inbox. You might file it. I have 12 or 15 files of saved emails. So for example, I'm at the beginning of the school year right now, and I'm getting a lot of emails about procedures for doing certain tasks. And so I just put those in a file folder, email file folder I call curriculum. And it has anything related to do with curriculum. If it has to do with grades, I have one for grades. If it's a parent response, I have it for parent response. So I file it, and if it's something I have to do later, I'll file it and then put a note in my calendar of when I need to do it. And then finally, delete. There's so many things we get, they sound cool, like if that music store is having its latest sale and you don't think you're going to be able to get to it, just delete it, because you know you can find that info if you need to. Binders and clipboards are your friend. So I had a clipboard with my rosters, especially for marching band when I was teaching marching band. And I had a binder that had all of my marching band sets in it. And they were laminated under sheet protectors. And then that way I could make notes to myself with a wet erase marker, and it wouldn't run off or anything. Make notes to myself, and later on I could flip back through that and see what the notes were and easily erase that with a damp paper towel. You can use this sort of binder and sheet protector for just about anything, for attendance, for your scores. If some people I've seen put their scores in it and make a copy of the scores, and then they just flip it through, and then all their notes for their score are on the sheet protector instead of in the music. Organize your files, physical and digital. A lot of times at the end of the year, things start, especially after the final concert. I have more time on my hands, but there's a lot of things that need to be done. That's a lot of times when I start organizing my physical files. If it's something I haven't used in 2 or 3 years, I throw it away. I'm getting a fresh start this year because I'm starting at a school that does not have a band program, and I'm getting to start one. And so it's very clean. There's no files. There's only about 10 or 12 songs. music for the library. So that's, of course, that's a drawback, but it's also a plus because it makes it very easy to keep track of everything. Your digital files, do the same thing. Organize them in a way that makes sense to you. For example, I have a file called Beginning of Year Forms. I have another file called 5-Note Music, and I use that for my beginning bands, and it's resources I've received free for when students know all of their 5 notes, and it's PDF files. Another thing you can do is to make copies in advance. I always see long lines at the copy machine of teachers who need what they're trying to copy in 2 minutes when class starts, and the machine jams. Usually for me, when I print out concert programs, it's at least a week before the concert, and I've already asked students, please check your name and let me know if I made a mistake. And some of them will come and tell me concert day. I'm like, I'm sorry, it's going to go how it is because I'm not going to make 200 more copies. I asked you to check it last week, but I usually have those done a week ahead of time, and then I don't have to worry about it. And then another thing you want to do is to file music as you go. So don't wait until the end of the year and then try to file music for the whole semester or the whole school year. You're just going to frustrate yourself. Collect it at the end of each concert, or when you definitely know you're not going to perform a piece, have the students pull it from their folders and make a stack. And a lot of times you can find students who like to organize music and like to file it and put it in score order. And if you can find a student like that, then you are blessed. I hope that these tips help you to stay more organized.
The Music and Podcast, where you get quick and easy tips for how to be a better